Sisters and brothers, the shift to a new world is on. Some call it the great turning, the planetary awakening, the transition. Presaged by the end of the Mayan calendar, the reunion of the eagle and the condor. Just to be clear, Bernie didn't make the shift. The shift made Bernie. It's a shift from believing that we have a resources problem to understanding that we have a cultural problem and that we need to evolve our culture so that it is economically sustainable, equitable, and in balance with nature. By embracing the shift, not only do we evade the noose of a resources problem, but we become the resources. We are renewable. You are renewable, you are renewable, you are renewable. We are all renewable resources. That's the vision, but where are we right now? And on Earth Day, I feel like it's super important that we step back and ask, if nature was to see us in our entirety, what do we look like? What's the image that we might look like to nature? So that's an open question to all of you.
Fluid human.
Beautiful? Broken. Okay. Any other ideas? I mean, like, what's a metaphor for who we are to nature right now?
Sick.
Okay, sick. Like, okay. Suffering, stuck.
Itself.
What's that?
Itself.
Itself? Yes, okay. Yeah.
Young.
Young. Okay, oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, what's something here? I heard some. Confused, okay.
Cancer.
Arrogant.
Cancer.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Yeah, so those are all great. Here's one that I love. Are we but crash test dummies, mimicking sentient beings, about to fail an evolutionary experiment in consciousness and wisdom? Will we brace for impact and watch wasteful lives flash before our eyes? Or will we slam on the brakes, relaxing our adherence to the script proselytized by the corporate oligarchy and oligarchies soon enough to prevent innocence from becoming collateral roadkill? So there's a lot of different visions of how we could look like to nature. They all have their own medicine, right? Because, you know, we say we're an adolescent, or we're sick, or we're cancer. There's a different medicine. There's an action that we can take that helps us see ourselves in that metaphor, whether it's, you know, stopping the cancer or growing up. I really like the adolescent one, because I think it actually provides a little bit greater and more enjoyable medicine than the notion of us being a cancer patient. So the cool thing about the adolescent one is, it's like we're going through a rites of passage, right? Like, we as a collective, as a civilization, need to take the next step so that we are moving into adulthood. And that's a beautiful notion. What does that look like? So that's that's a meta-narrative, that we are an adolescent and we're going to go through a rites of passage, and all this stuff that's going on right now is actually pushing us to go through this process and become, have a shift in how we see the planet and consciousness, and we become an adult. And therefore we are going to be acting in ways that are in more balance, and we're more kind to the earth, etc. So that's a beautiful narrative. It's a meta-narrative. And the next thought is, well, what are the stories that we can start telling that actually get us there? Because if we want to disseminate anything, like we want to go with that adolescent meta-narrative, we need some stories that support that. And the types of stories that I believe we need are awakening stories. If we want a planetary awakening, then we need awakening stories, right? So that's what we've done with Pachas Pajamas. We put together a story that's an environmental children's awakening story. And it is about a little girl, when she goes to sleep, the plants and animals on her PJs guide her on dream adventures to learn more about herself and her connection to the natural world. And I'm going to step back and let Aaron take over. But before I do, I just want to show you something that's really special about the book. Arya mentioned that it is an animated book. Okay. And one thing, you know, we were real concerned that kids are so crazy about being on these devices that we wanted to create a bridge between the device and the actual books. And you're not going to really see this, but you might get a sense of what an animated book is. So there's music going on too, and she's doing the witness.
What the hell?
What's that? Oh, well, you can see it after. So we're going to enter into the dream world now. So there we go.
Come on, everybody. Let's have a party. Let's get down with the freshest sound. Come check the story, chart the journey. Dance it now where the music is found. Ooh, she got ya. Her name is Pachas, and this is a whale with the hugest tail. Good, great beats, it's a tree's belief. The bestest dreams come true. Pebble will rock you, duckbill will splash you. It's the roar of a jaguar, the poise of a spider. Nature can talk, word, it's a butterfly world. So fly like a hummingbird, shine with the Jacksons, time with the rap on. Come on, Rover, come on, Clover, it's a real sleepover. Pachas Pajamas comes to life. It's a story where we all unite. It's a dream upon a starry night. Take a deep breath, cause the air is fresh. Bring instruments to the nature fest. The bestest dreams come true. Bestest dreams come true. Bestest dreams come true. Pachas was a little girl with big dreams. She dreamed of dancing hip-hop in front of huge crowds. She dreamed of being plants and animals, of being in upside-down worlds where kids make the rules, of worlds where everyone sees each other in each other. But most of all, she dreamed of being an everyday hero, like discovering the cure to sadness or conquering sickness with a deep breath. Pachas had asthma and she lived in a pretty dirty city. And as she grew up, she was always kind of struggling with her breath, but one day she came home. And she got home with her dad, and she couldn't breathe. She was choking on her own breath. Just at that moment, her mother arrived home, and like a miracle, her mother and father managed to calm her down with her inhaler and deep meditative breath. She got her breath back, and as a reward, she was gifted a magical new pair of pajamas. Looked like they were glowing. They had dancing animals and shining stars, and wild plants woven through the threads of these magic pajamas. And that night, as she put them on, she drifted off into a magical dream. It all began when a whale met a hummingbird. The whale called out to the hummingbird from the ocean, "Help! I can't breathe!" Little hummingbird was so surprised, stopped from its migration and looked down, and sure enough, the whale had a piece of plastic stuck in its blowhole. Swooped down and, like some kind of interspecies connection, pulled the piece of plastic out from the whale's spout. And after much conversation, the jaguar joined, and then the tree joined, and then a pebble, and a mushroom. All these species from different walks of life, you could say. And of course, what they didn't know was that Pacha had also joined them, looking down, peering from the tree. And as she looked down, she saw all these plants and animals talking about the state of the world. Of course, the jungles are being turned to shopping malls, says the jaguar, and the oceans there's lots of problems, says the whale. But the one delusionally positive, awesome mushroom popped up and said, "Hey, why is everybody so down in the dumps? All things can change." I'm not going to do Cheech Marin for you. So, after much ado, the mushroom suggested that they throw a giant nature festival! It took a lot of convincing and a lot of persuasion, and there was all sorts of plots to go against this. I'm not going to get into it fully. But what I will say is, with your permission, we as embodiments of the earth can create this festival together. Today, are you in?
Yeah!
Okay, all my creatures out there, do we have any wild cats out there?
Yes!
Yeah, I want sound effects. We need sound effects. Remember, you're all 8 years old. What about the sound of the wind in the trees? All my birds out there, birds? Remember, all my birds, they're on Twitter. Make sure you tweet for Bernie Sanders. Anyway, this is Pachajama. We have arrived at Pachajama, the nature festival. And we would like to share one of the main songs that's performed for the entire planet. Imagine, the sun and moon are the spotlights. The stage is half land, half water, powered by electric eels. Whoa. CNN, Coyote News Network, is broadcasting. Fox News are real foxes. It goes on and on and on, trust me. So I've heard, though, that there is a special coral reef choral choir in the audience. Do we have, where? Oh. Let's hear the underwater, for the underwater